Hey, what's up guys? My name is Sal and this is another expedition log. As we wind down Phase 4 of the ExLog series, gearing up for the exciting and massive Phase 5, I'd like to show you all a dead mall currently serving a life sentence as a time capsule containing vintage 70s aesthetics and black mold. As always, I hope you're all well out there, taking care of yourselves and having a good time all the time. I would also like to thank Anthony E. from Ace's Adventures for providing some extra footage that made this ExLog possible. Thanks again, Ace. I really appreciate it. Today, I'd like you all to come take a walk with me through the Genesee Country Mall in Batavia, New York. But first, a word from our sponsors. The biggest disco in the world in Buffalo, New York, and the Super Mario Super Show. Enjoy.
Get ready to boogie at the world's largest disco, Saturday, November 28th at the Buffalo Convention Center. Join our host celebrity guests, including Greg Brady, Tabitha from Bewitched, Kenny Terrio, Isaac, the Love Boat. Tickets are on sale now at all Ticketmaster outlets. For more information, call 635-8668. The world's largest disco is a charity event benefiting Camp Good Days and Special Times, sponsored by VH1 Philadelphia.
This is Channel 17, WNED-TV, Buffalo.
Holy cannoli, kids, I'm Mario, and I'm telling you, if you're not watching the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, you're gonna turn into a Goomba. Don't be the last on your block to be playing with pasta power. Tune in for the wildest weekday fun in the universe. Join me, Luigi, Princess Toadstool, and Toad. We're gonna kick some Koopa. Woo!
The Super Mario Bros. Super Show. Afternoons at 4 in Channel 43's Kids Land.
Welcome to Batavia, New York, home of one of the darkest and moldiest malls I have ever seen. The history of this mall goes way back to the middle of the 20th century, and I'd like to dive deep into the historical narrative if you'll all indulge me. We will be taking a full tour through the interior of this mall with footage from 2019, 2020, and 2021, with lots of extra footage courtesy of my good buddy Anthony E. from Ace's Adventures. Thanks, Ace. You rock, dude. You are the Luigi to my Mario. In the 1960s, the city of Batavia started getting involved with the federal government's idea of urban renewal, which would allow them to take advantage of many grants to revitalize their downtown crumbling area, which would culminate in two projects, the Court Street and Jefferson Plazas. In 1971, the Batavia, New York Urban Renewal Agency formally announced plans to completely reinvigorate Jefferson Plaza in the central business district for Batavia, New York, as had been the plan since the 1960s. Among the many developments as part of this project was a new mall, for which the agency held a contest where a civilian could name the mall in 1972. The winner of the contest was John Mondo Jr., and after many years of speculation, the Caldwell Development Corporation of Williamsville was tapped to head the project, signing an agreement with the agency in January of 1974 to build and lease the new mall. It's worth noting that there were no plans to bring on an anchor to this mall, and it would serve only as an enclosed space with a handful of shops. By January 3, 1975, the Urban Renewal Agency hired multiple contractors and developers for the massive Jefferson Plaza renewal project in Batavia's central business district, and things were a go. The first business to open was an Acme supermarket in the plaza adjacent to the proposed mall, setting the stage for the entire development to move forward and putting momentum in place. Specific to the mall, the Caldwell Development Corp was hired just to develop the concourse for the mall, who then subcontracted the construction work to the Cowper Construction Company of Buffalo. The Urban Renewal Agency then hired LaChase Construction Company of Rochester to build the city-owned public portion of the mall. Around this time, the construction crews were expected to begin moving onto the site by February of 1975, with a tentative opening for the end of 1975. It's worth noting here that the Caldwell Development Corp was going to be the owner for the mall portion. They were going to build the stores in the concourse and lease them out. And the city of Batavia was going to own the public portions of the mall. So just keep that in mind. The steel skeleton for the mall was completed by Thursday, April 10, 1975, and the structure was being enclosed for the public walkway portion of the mall. But Caldwell Development was unable to get the money that they needed for the project, and the Urban Renewal Agency dropped them as the prime developer, thus stalling the project. This caused agency chairman Herbert T. Clausius to propose a couple of different scenarios. Either the city would construct the rest of the enclosed mall and stores and resell it to a developer, or they would construct an insulated skin of salvageable materials that could be reclaimed when the store sections were built and a developer chosen. Either way, the development would continue, but with the city of Batavia in the driving seat to develop the mall in the most economically sound way possible. They wanted to do this project for as cheap as they possibly could, now that they had no formal developer. Later in April of 75, the project completely stalled out with no developer at the helm of construction, and with most of the mall still exposed to the elements, the agency was heavily considering installing a, quote, weatherproof skin, close quote, to protect the mall from the coming winter months. This glorified tarp was expected to cost about $130,000, along with a $9,100 architectural fee on top of the estimated cost for the mall, which so far was about $1.2 million. With all of these plans for the mall in limbo, by Thursday, September 4, 1975, the agency brought on the McWethy Construction and Design Company, which was based right out of Batavia, New York. McWethy purchased a majority of the land at the site of the new mall from the agency for $129,540, which came along with the rights to build the remainder of the structure. The agency chose to retain the services of LaChase Construction as the general contractor. Construction would stall multiple times as union workers would picket, sometimes in a questionably legal fashion. Despite city council coming in to investigate the legality of these pickets, construction crews would refuse to cross the picket lines, further delaying the construction of the mall. However, a couple of months later, on Tuesday, November 25, 1975, work had forged ahead in earnest, and it was reported that the heating and ventilation systems for the public walkways were completed just in time for winter and were to be tested in the coming days. Construction would slowly continue through the winter without the need to install a temporary tarp. But with more momentum building in construction, plans for the mall would begin to expand. Urban Renewal Agency Director A. Edward Kaito reported on Wednesday, December 17, 1975, that an unnamed 70,000 square foot department store was in talks to construct a store which would be attached at the north end of the still under construction mall. After another year of construction, the Genesee Country Mall would finally enjoy its grand opening and ribbon-cutting dedication at 10 a.m. on Thursday, November 11, 1976. While the entire Jefferson Plaza revitalization project would cost around $15 million to complete, the 200,000 square foot mall cost just over $6 million by itself. While the mall didn't have a senior anchor or department store attached, yet it did have a quaint and warm aesthetic and included more than 800 parking spaces. New streets and sidewalks were built, which gave the agency the much-needed grants from the government to fund the mall's development. The mall has a design invoking tones of brutalism, with stone entrances that weigh nearly 5 tons each on the exterior. Inside, the mall had a central concourse with 3 central court areas, each with trees growing beneath skylights and warm wood and dark brick lining the walkways. The celebrations at the grand opening lasted only hours, capping off over a half-decade of treacherous work. And while the community was jubilant at the arrival of their new mall, the developers and businesses within were bracing for an incredibly rough start to the life of the mall, as the GTE Sylvania Incorporated was shutting down its local television manufacturing later that year, which would bring the loss of hundreds of jobs to the area. The thing about Genesee Country Mall was that the city of Batavia owned the structure, while the developer owned the concourse. However, the individual stores inside were built and fully owned by those who built them. Stores like Palace of Sweets, which was a candy shop, or Gentleman Jim's, a restaurant, both of which will actually be going inside a bit later in the episode. All of the storefronts inside the mall weren't built by the city of Batavia or McWethy. They simply built the shell and allowed the individuals to build their own storefronts inside. So whereas typical malls saw a developer own the entire space, including tenant stalls which were leased out to various stores, the stalls at Genesee Country Mall were built and owned by the shops. And this was all because Caldwell got fired as a developer when they couldn't raise the money when the mall was first being built. So the city of Batavia introduced this hybrid, fragmented ownership structure, and that's pretty rare in a mall. 3 years after the mall opened, and after so many years of speculation, the Genesee Country Mall finally got a senior anchor when a JCPenney opened its doors in 1979. By this time, the mall was about 75% full, with businesses such as Arlene's Hallmark, Val Jewelers, Scott & Bean, Smart & Sassy, DeSalvo Shoes, Slight's Bookstore, Roxy's Music Store, Batavia Sewing Center, Hansel and Gretel Boutique, The Uniform Shop, Alberti's Drug Store, and Belle Isle Imports Outlet. Remember, each of these businesses built and owned their stores, so there were tons of unique shop fronts and a concourse that had a configuration unlike most malls that were built in the 1970s. This was actually a huge point of contention with the shop owners through the 1980s, as lawsuits would start flying due to unpaid maintenance and utility bills. Each year, it cost about $103,000 to run this mall back in the 70s and 80s, and given the exotic ownership model, the store owners didn't expect individual utility bills. But that's what they got because that's the agreement they signed in 1975. Remember, in most typical malls, the tenants would pay rent, which covered the cost of utilities and maintenance that the mall owners and managers would pay. But at Genesee Country Mall, the bills went unpaid, lawsuits were slung all over the place, and strongly worded letters were sent because of the confusion of this fragmented ownership model. On Friday, August 19, 1983, it was reported that the Genesee Country Mall merchants had won their lawsuit against the city of Batavia due to the fact that the mall was not yet 80% leased, which is what was in the agreement that they signed in 1975. If the mall was at 80% leased or above, the merchants would pay their bills. If it was below that, the mall needed to court new tenants. So whatever fees were paid by the merchants since July of 1979 were to be refunded, costing the city upwards of $200,000, which would be paid back to the merchants in the form of an annual assessment. The city would continue paying for the maintenance of the mall until it reached 80% occupancy, at which point the merchants agreed to pay $1.44 per square foot. The lawsuit from the beginning was on shaky ground, as the mall was over 75% occupied at grand opening and they hadn't lost any tenants. But the city pulled a greasy old shady maneuver to dupe the stats and fudge the numbers before heading to court. The city of Batavia tried to include the loading dock, transformer rooms, and bathrooms as part of the other areas considered to be occupied by the merchants, artificially bumping the occupancy over 80%. Justice Roger T. Cook of the New York State Supreme Court ruled that these spaces were owned by the city, not the merchants, which brought that occupancy down below 80% again, as it should have been, handing the case right back to the merchants, delivering them the win. As most malls around the country were thriving into the 1990s, the Genesee Country Mall was troubled, to say the least. Tenancy never hit that 80% mark, and by the mid-90s, it was reported in local news outlets that locals were urging the city to demolish the mall to create a more visible and vibrant downtown retail strip. City official Edward M. Flynn, community development director, was quoted saying, quote, "More than anything, I hear you've got to do something with that mall," close quote. So, by 1996, the city of Batavia was officially looking for new developers to express interest in partnering with the city to redevelop the mall into something new. Community Development Director Mr. Flynn went on to print a classified ad in the Rochester-based Democrat and Chronicle newspaper on December 2, 1996, which states, quote, "Fragmented ownership has inhibited leasing and marketing activities and has made it difficult to coordinate needed refurbishment. It was successful as a retail property for many years, but now requires market repositioning and redevelopment for new uses and consolidated ownership." Close quote. These proposed changes would require the individual merchants inside the mall to sign off. And as I'm sure all of you could imagine, none of these store owners wanted to sell their stores to the city and lose all their jobs. So, petitions for local redevelopment went unsigned, and efforts to raise the mall would fail completely through the 90s. As we got into the new millennium, the Genesee Country Mall limped into...
Yeah. Yeah, I've been a DJ for 25 years. This summer, I had a wedding every single Saturday. I thankfully only have 2 more left, and then I'm all done.
Ace, stay on topic. Malls. We know you're a DJ.
I'm assuming you've been pretty busy too.
Yeah, I cut myself back. After COVID, I realized.
After COVID, what? What did you realize?
I'm sure you've been down that way before. Oh, that's cool. It has like a little... It almost looks like the Mr. Peanut guy. Awesome.
Ace, you're the Mr. Peanut guy.
What's back here? Anything of interest?
It's pretty much all empty. This was the concession stand that used to run.
Oh, cool.
Like the front was all open if you walked.
Oh, okay.
Awesome flashlight work there, dude.
It's all walled off now.
Yep.
Ace is doing the shake weight cam, but instead of the camera, it's the flashlight. The shake weight
Oh, yeah, they even
is the
have
flashlight.
Have the boards up there still.
Good camera work though, dude.
That's awesome. You gotta wonder how long that's...
What? How long it's what?
No, I was told, the guy said that somebody unfortunately got in here and gutted it, I was told.
Yeah, probably the owner.
Oh, wow.
Well, the owner, before it was taken by the city, when he had it up for sale, came in and took everything out of it.
Well, that's good. Okay. I love the old artwork here on the walls.
Ace, that's like drywall and paint.
Really? I should have brought my flashlight. I'm an idiot. But you have yours, thankfully. I appreciate the light.
That's what happens when you work in here.
Yeah.
Such beautiful artwork.
Yeah, I've been in here a bunch of times, but I've never seen. This is the original old. Oh my gosh, look at that.
It's another menu. Oh my god, look at that. Guys, it's another menu.
Oh my, that's amazing.
It's so amazing.
Awesome. Oh, that's cool. The old Coke trash can.
Yep.
That's sweet.
Coca-Cola themselves spent decades in research and development designing that trash can.
Did you? I know I'm 38. You're probably close to my age, I would imagine. Did you ever? Can you ever remember coming here to eat or no?
I used to eat here when I went to GCC.
He ate there every day.
You can only be open during mall hours because there's no outside entrance.
One original bench left.
Yep, that's it. The rest of them were sold at Sotheby's.
Holy shit.
Language. Mister, watch your mouth.
Wash your hands.
Yes, always wash your hands.
Just imagine some lady back here in the 70s doing dishes back here.
Ace, I'm picturing you doing dishes back there. Right after you make me a sandwich with waffle fries for free. Careful.
Oh, what is this?
This was the hiding spot. It used to sell.
Oh man.
One of those little white figurines.
The
You know what I'm talking
yeah, like the little angel looking.
about. Yeah, they're all like this big.
Oh my gosh, this is incredible.
Yeah, it was called the hiding place. It's so basically bric-a-brac.
This was built before me and you were even a thought.
This thing's awesome. The downfall is nowadays it would never pass.
What? Pass what? What wouldn't it pass? Complete the shots, man. Get the full thoughts.
That's the original like sketch or like the 3D model.
No. It's a sketch.
What would you date that early?
It's probably when it was first built.
Definitely when it was first built.
Main Street 56 Theater.
Oh, cool. I love theater.
Oh, Ace, leave these poor people alone.
Hey, how are you?
This is one of
Hey.
our people, David Adams.
He's our treasurer.
Treasurer?
Nice.
Our people, not the king and queen.
Nice to meet you.
All right, now, let's get back to the history, Ace. Thank you so much for the footage. Genesee Country Mall limped into the new millennium, not having to worry about that pesky old Y2K bug, since nothing inside the mall was ever updated or modernized past 1975. But the city was hell-bent on doing at least something with their $6 million mall that went nowhere. So in 2003, Ed Flynn announced a redevelopment project for the Genesee Country Mall. By 2003, the city of Batavia received a $3.8 million loan from the federal government for the first phase of development. The work had nothing to do with the mall itself, but rather the addition of an office complex attached to the southwest portion of the mall. Construction went quickly for the addition, and by Wednesday, September 29, 2004, it was reported that work was 98% complete on the brand new Batavia City Center addition, which would soon see its occupants moving into their offices. This 23,000 square foot addition consolidated Batavia city departments under one roof, along with becoming the new home for the city manager's office, the city clerk's office, and the Department of Public Works. But the project didn't stop there. They put those new offices right to use and successfully applied for and received a federal loan to finish the project and spruce up the mall in the process. The Fed gave Batavia $875,000 to finish their project, where they would put a few dollars aside for the mall itself, to put up signs and renovate common concourse areas of the Genesee Country Mall. Essentially, they put up secondary directories pointing to the new city center offices, tore down all of the trees in the mall, and covered up the center fountain with a big old ugly wooden stage. And with that, the mall would see no further changes, no further owners, developments, or renovations. Minus that tacky wooden stage, the city center addition, and the deforestation efforts in the courtyard, this mall looks precisely as it has since 1975. The mall drifted through the 2010s like a child that walks into a movie theater right in the middle of the movie, completely unaware of anything happening around it. The city owns the mall, and they really have no intention on doing anything but letting the mall rot. By 2017, JCPenney was closing stores left and right, with 138 closures listed for that year. But the Genesee Country Mall location somehow survived. By 2019, I showed up to this place with my camera, only to find the entrance to the concourse from inside the JCPenney open about 3 inches wide, and there was no way in hell that I was getting through that. It was on a weekend, so the city offices were closed, along with all of the exterior mall entrances. Then 2020 and all of its greasy happenings came and went. COVID closed the mall just like the rest of the malls, but 2020 also took with it the Genesee Country Mall JCPenney, which finally closed in late 2020 after liquidation sales. By 2021, the Genesee Country Mall and Batavia City Center were back to normal. The city offices were open, the moldy mall entrances were all unlocked, and it was just business as usual. Let the mall grow mold colonies, put up some buckets around to collect the leaky water from the roof, and just pump all of the resources into the city offices. The mall would remain an indefinite afterthought, and that's how I expect it to remain, at least for the foreseeable future. If you're in this area on a weekday, probably between 9 to 5, make sure you give this mall a visit. It really is a time capsule with 70s aesthetics and black mold, as you've seen in all of those entrances. Seeing a mall like this, untouched since 1975, is such a rare treat. You don't see this kind of thing anymore. It's really hard to find malls like this these days. And there's one point of clarity about this mall that I'd like to just clear up. While it is called the Batavia City Center to most locals, the mall is still called Genesee Country Mall. That never changed. There was never a rebranding effort. There was never a rededication ceremony or another ribbon cutting opening the mall as Batavia City Center. This place is still called Genesee Country Mall, but the addition, the Batavia City offices, it's called Batavia City Center. That appendage on the southwest portion of the mall, that's called Batavia City Center. And the mall proper, that's the Genesee Country Mall. If you're local to this place, if you're in the Batavia area or surrounding areas, let me know down in the comments if I'm right about that. There really wasn't documentation showing a rebranding of this mall. So my hunch is it's still called the Genesee Country Mall. If you're local to this place, let me know if I'm right down in the comments. If I'm wrong, go ahead and rip me up down in the comments. But either way, let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this place down below. And if anything changes here, also let me know. Either here or Discord or all of my social media. Links for everything are down in the description. I'd like to thank all of you so much for watching my video. I've been wanting to produce a film on this mall for a long time now, but I just haven't had the opportunity to head back up to New York to film it again now that I know that the interior is open on weekdays. So I'd like to send my absolute sincerest thanks to Anthony E. from Ace's Adventures for hooking me up with the extra footage I needed to complete this ExLog. Please make sure to head over to his channel and subscribe. While he is the Luigi to my Mario, and we fight like 5-year-old kids every day, he's still my boy and my brother, and he's got one hell of a YouTube channel. He's a talented dude, so again, please go subscribe to Ace's Adventures. You can also sub to me if you dig my content, and I guess if you're still here with me by this point in the video, chances are pretty good that you like what I'm putting down. So sub to me, sub to Ace, let's all be friends and hug it out. Special thanks, as always, to all of my patrons and elite explorers who support my efforts directly. As the world's getting back to some bit of normalcy finally, I have huge plans to get out and film tons of locations for all of you. I can't get to every place out there, but if you have a specific location you'd like to see on the ExLog, please let me know. I'm always open to suggestions. The best way to get a hold of me is through my Discord, home of the DMod family. It's free to join and super easy to get set up. Just download the Discord app, make your account, and then point your browser to discord.gg/dmod. Once you arrive, you won't be able to see anything on the server. All the channels will be hidden, but you will see a couple of notifications pointing you towards the moderator's ears channel. In there, a mod will need you to answer 2 questions. 1, verifying your age, and 2, asking where you found the link. Just tell him that Uncle Sal sent you. Once you get your role assigned, the entire server will magically appear, and you're all set. You can also find me on Twitter, which is where I post most of my off-script musings, along with Instagram and Facebook if you're into that sort of thing. My Twitter and Instagram handles are @SalvatoreAmadeo, and on Facebook you can find me at Quite Studios. I've also got a website that I've totally been neglecting, but when Phase 5 of the ExLog drops, I'm going to start doing a few giveaways for some really cool stuff. And the things that I'll be giving away will be listed in the merch section, which will appear on my website very soon. Merch is coming. Giveaways are coming. And y'all aren't ready for the kind of content that I'm about to start releasing in Phase 5. The forum on my website is also a great place to share your own stories, and my blog on the website will cover every episode I do on this channel, eventually. Head over to salvatoreamadeo.com to check it out, and get ready for Phase 5 and the merch. Big things are coming, so prepare yourselves. Links for everything are all down below. I'll be back soon with ExLog 97, which will cover the now closed Main Place Mall in Buffalo, New York, where Ace and I get into all sorts of cahoots and we get chased out by security, only after getting all of the footage that we needed. There'll be more adventures up in the Buffalo Niagara region in Phase 5, but I wanted to give you guys just a taste of what's coming with that episode. So please, stay tuned for ExLog 97, which is coming sooner than you guys think. But until then, please stay safe out there, everyone. Have a good time all the time. Take care of yourselves, and have a fantastic day.
For more information, call 635-8668. The world's largest disco is a charity event benefiting Camp Good Days and Special Times. Sponsored by VH1 and Adelphia.
This is Channel 17, WNED-TV, Buffalo.
Holy cannoli, kids, I'm Mario, and I'm telling you, if you're not watching the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, you're gonna turn into a Goomba. Don't be the last on your block to be playing with pasta power. Tune in for the wildest weekday fun in the universe. Join me, Luigi, Princess Toadstool, and Toad.